right, it's winter time in northeastern Ohio. It's cold outside, not much to do. Nobody wants to go wheeling with that cold wind in their face. It's hard to motivate your buddies to get out there and go wheeling. So we're going to entertain ourselves by working in a shop. So normally every winter I take on a project of some sort. Last year we built a tilt top sidecar for an electric wheelchair for a gentleman who had one leg and really wanted to ride his motorcycle. So that was a real fun project. I enjoyed it. I'll try and put a picture up in the corner somewhere and show you what that looked like. But this year we are going to build a kids buggy. Had someone drop off some parts, and my responsibility is to build this thing out as a roller and then hand it off to him so he can finish this project up. So far what we've got is he dropped off some axles out of a Samurai. They're down here. They look to be in pretty good shape. We got some wheels on them so we can roll them around a little bit. We got one steering axle, one drag axle, and then he brought us an engine. So what we're going to be using is a Gixxer 750 engine. If you know anything about those street bikes, it's a lot of power and a small package. So it sounds like we're going to make that work with a Recluse clutch, and then that way a young kid won't have to worry about using a clutch. At this time, the kid's 2 years old, so he thinks maybe in a couple years this kid will be ripping around in the woods with them. So we're going to try and make that happen. So at this point, I'm going to grab some measurements from the engine and some of this axle stuff, and we're going to start laying out some tubes in the computer and see what we can come up with design-wise. I'm going to model it after some of the other buggies that I built and try and just use some of the geometry that I've got there, as it seems to be working real well for us. Obviously we're going to go a little bit shorter wheelbase because this is going to be a much smaller buggy. I'm going to try and design it for a 35-inch tire. It's probably going to start with like a 31-inch for now, but I could see things growing a little bit. You know, you want a little bit more ground clearance. We all know how it goes. You know, you start with a Jeep and it's got stock tires and you upgrade those and then you do it again and again. So we'll just design this chassis to be able to accept something a little bit bigger for future proofing. He definitely wants it to be a 2-seat chassis so that he can be in there and coach his kid along. They'll teach him how to drive. And then I'm going to try and design it with a lot of seat adjustability so that you could move it forward and backwards or even change the seats out. I'm going to try and leave enough room in there for that. But I'm going to get busy on the computer and lay some stuff out. I'll update you guys along with this process, and then hopefully we can entertain all of us through the winter time and not get so bored through the winter blues. I know some of you southern folks keep the wheel all year round, and that's really nice, but up here we go through some depression and some boredom. So we try and fill our time in a warm shop because sub-zero temperatures is just not that fun outside. All right, here we are in Bentech software. This is what I'm accustomed to using. And I got everything kind of laid out for the bottom section of this buggy project. These green dots here are called pick points, and you can use them as a reference to set up different lines and dimensions in reference to one another. And that's what I'm using to help lay things out. If we change over to tube area, we can see this is what it's kind of looking like, give you a better visual. But what ultimately is happening here is I'm working off of this level. This is the floor level. This is like a side rail, the front, another side, and the back. And we're going off of that dimension down below. This is the belly section. And in between these two areas, we've got about 10 inches, which is going to work out great. The transfer case measures in about 8 inches tall, so plenty of room for that thing in there. And then it's about 13 inches long from flange to flange. So we've got 14 and a quarter here. So what's going to happen is that flange is going to land right around here and here, and we'll be able to run the drive shaft out in the cavity going forwards and backwards to get to the axles. So we have a little reverse box that's going to go up right in this area here,
and then a drive shaft to the engine that's going to be in this area. So it's about time to start working with some tube. Check the dimensions here, and we've got plenty of room for the seats that'll go between this rail and this rail here, up above. And I'll probably bump out for a little bit extra shoulder space up in here, and then that way if you stick an adult in here, and they'll have plenty of room for their arms and everything. But that's what we got going on. I'm going to start cutting a little bit of tubing. I need to make this box here, from here across the back, the side. I need to make that box first and get that all squared up. Once that's square, then we can start building off of that part. So I'm going to head out to the shop and get busy.
Alright, we got the first box all tacked together. It's all squared up, and I'm just going to flip it over and weld the other side. Weld it up. Cut, and it's time to bend it. So got it set up in the bender. Got to bend it to 53 degrees, I believe it is, and we'll go from there. Alright, we can only make it so far with the stroke of this air jack, and so we gotta go to the next hole and then continue. So collapse this thing. I usually just push it back in with my hip, and then that pin drops in. I'll be able to finish this one. Got another 13 degrees to go probably. You gotta account for the spring back in the metal. It's got a lot of tension, so when you let off the pressure, it's gonna go back a few degrees depending on how far you're going, kind of adjust. In most cases, the metal that we're using about this far is usually 3 to 4 degrees worth of spring back. So right now we're sitting at 51. We need another 2 degrees out of it. So I'm gonna take it to 53 and then add 3 or 4 and we should be good. Perfect. Right there at 53. We'll pop this thing out of here. We'll slide it down to the next line I got here, put the next bend in it, and then we'll have our part. All right, we got 2 of them now, so the next thing is we're gonna have to notch the ends of these so that they lay flat on these parts. Gonna have to tie in like that. So, all right, I'm getting the tube all set up in the notcher here. I'm using a Bailey Industrial notcher. Works really well. I like it a lot. There's a lot of them on the market, different options and stuff. This will do offset notching and everything. But the thing I really like about this one is the clamp. You just spin this thing on top of here and it clamps that tube in so tight. It doesn't pinch point on like 4 points or anything. It tightens down round, so it's really cool. All right, there we go. Ready for a test fit. Okay, so we got a 37-degree notch in this tube. And the way we came up with that, it's real simple. Put the angle finder on there. You come off your 90, you know, if it was vertical, walk over, count the difference from your 90, your 37. That's how we did it. So when this sets on there, that's what we get. Nice good fit. Now we can rotate this tube just like we need to all the way around, however, and set our height of the belly. So, ready for the next step. All right, got this thing together, this portion anyways, and I did go ahead and set the transfer case in here so that we can kind of see how much room there is for it. And it looks like we got plenty of space to have a nice flat floor here and everything. The input will come from there, and then we have an output for the rear and the front. So that'll be the front of the buggy. This will be the back here, and I guess we'll be moving forward soon. I am still waiting on the reverse box since the motorcycle engine does not have reverse. We're going to put an intermediate box in there to get reverse. And so they'll go engine into the reverse box, into the transfer case, and then the drive shafts to the axles. So stick around. We'll be doing some more updates soon here, but I'm excited to get this part together and looking forward to getting some more done. I think the next stage will probably be getting the front tube done that will go around the engine, and probably get the engine mounted next. So keep looking out for updates.